In a bold and controversial move, the Trump administration has once again set its sights on U.S. higher education institutions, this time targeting international students. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has issued a directive to U.S. embassies worldwide, halting new student visa interviews until further notice. This decision, communicated through a diplomatic cable, introduces expanded social media screening requirements for applicants, sparking widespread concern across academic and legal circles. Let's dive into the implications of this sweeping policy shift and explore what it could mean for international students, universities, and the broader American academic landscape. Rubio's order directs consular officers to suspend all new appointments for FM and J visas, categories primarily used by international students and scholars, pending additional guidance. This suspension has raised alarm, as it could potentially delay or block entry for over 1.1 million international students. Many of these students contribute significantly to the U.S. economy, particularly in STEM fields, and provide vital cultural and financial support to universities. State Department spokeswoman Tammy Bruce commented on the directive, emphasizing the need for stricter vetting. "We are going to assess who it is that's coming here, whether they are students or otherwise," Bruce stated, though she declined to elaborate further. The pause on visa processing poses immediate challenges for international students hoping to start or continue their studies during the 2024-2025 academic year. While interviews already scheduled may proceed, the future remains uncertain for thousands of students now left in limbo. International students represent a vital component of the U.S. education system, often paying full tuition and subsidizing financial aid for domestic students. According to recent data, international students contribute billions of dollars annually to the U.S. economy. The freeze on visa interviews could have long-term repercussions, not only for individual institutions, but also for America's global standing as a hub for higher education. The STEM fields, in particular, are heavily reliant on international talent. Many foreign students pursuing advanced degrees in these areas often remain in the U.S. post-graduation, contributing to research, innovation, and economic growth. Rubio's directive risks undermining this pipeline of talent, prompting concerns among educators and industry leaders alike. Businesses near campuses rely on students. Restaurants, shops, and housing. University finances are at risk. Budget cuts might be needed. This policy has wide ripples. The economic cost is high. The directive has sparked significant legal and constitutional debates. Immigration attorney David Leopold described the policy as cataclysmic, citing its far-reaching implications for free speech and association under the First Amendment, as well as due process concerns. The directive builds on the administration's broader efforts to reshape higher education policies, including a Department of Homeland Security attempt earlier this year to bar Harvard University from enrolling foreign students, a decision swiftly blocked by a federal judge. These measures also coincide with federal probes into elite universities over allegations of anti-Semitism, signaling an increasingly adversarial stance toward higher education institutions. For example, Justice Department Civil Rights Attorney Leo Terrell warned that the University of California system could face massive lawsuits as part of a broader investigation into campus environments. At the heart of this directive lies an expansion of social media screening for visa applicants. Rubio and his allies argue that this increased scrutiny is necessary to ensure national security. They point to cases like that of Rumaisa Öztürk, a Tufts University doctoral student arrested after writing an op-ed supporting Palestinians, as justification for the policy. "We're not going to give you a visa if your intention is to engage in political activism deemed disruptive," Rubio stated in March, signaling his long-standing support for such measures. However, critics argue that this level of surveillance infringes on personal privacy and stifles free speech. They warn that these policies could create a chilling effect, deterring international students from applying to U.S. institutions altogether. The directive also raises questions about the criteria used to evaluate applicants and how disruptive political activism is defined. The Trump administration's actions reflect a broader strategy to reshape U.S. higher education by targeting elite universities and their policies. Federal contracts worth $100 million with institutions like Harvard are already at risk of cancellation, further escalating tensions between the government and academia. Meanwhile, voices within the administration, like business magnate Kevin O'Leary, have advocated for a more selective visa process that balances national security with economic interests. This perspective highlights a growing divide within the administration over how to approach international students, valued for their contributions, yet scrutinized for potential risks. As legal challenges to these policies loom, experts predict a protracted battle in the courts. The directive has already drawn comparisons to previous high-profile immigration cases, such as the travel ban and restrictions on asylum seekers. How this policy evolves will likely depend on judicial rulings and the administration's willingness to address mounting public and institutional backlash. This latest move is not without precedent. U.S. immigration policies have historically reflected broader political and social trends. From the Chinese Exclusion Act in the late 19th century to the travel bans of recent years, the interplay between immigration and public sentiment has often shaped national policy. The current directive can be seen as part of this continuum, reflecting ongoing debates over security, economic competition, and cultural integration. For international students, the United States has long been a beacon of opportunity, offering access to world-class education and research facilities. This reputation has drawn millions of students over decades, fostering innovation and strengthening diplomatic ties. However, policies like Rubio's directive risk tarnishing this image, potentially pushing talent toward more welcoming countries like Canada, the UK, or Australia. The freeze on student visas marks a critical juncture in U.S. immigration and education policy. As international students await clarity, universities are left grappling with the potential fallout. Will this policy deter talented students from coming to the U.S., or will it serve as a wake-up call for institutions to advocate more vigorously for their international communities? For now, the fate of countless students and the institutions that rely on them hangs in the balance. The stakes are high, not just for individual universities, but for America's reputation as a beacon of higher education and opportunity. What are your thoughts on this latest development? Should stricter vetting measures take precedence over maintaining an open and welcoming environment for international students? Share your perspective in the comments below. If you found this analysis insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth coverage of the policies shaping our world. Let your voice be heard as we navigate these complex and critical issues together. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.